Welcome to our next edition of Impact Show here at the beautiful Anaheim White House. I love the city of Anaheim, so does Gwen Stefani, but I think I love it a little bit more because I've been to Disneyland more than anyone I know. I'm here with a great friend of the IMA, me personally. I mean, we've traveled to Italy together. We've done some really cool stuff, Bruno. Bruno Serato, he's a Sir, he's a Cav. This man has won the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. He's a CNN hero. There's so much to this interview. I'm so excited. Bruno, tell our audience a little bit about your background.
We need to talk for 3 days and 3 nights.
We're going to have to shorten it down. Let's do like a 3-minute intro.
I'm Italian from Verona, city of Romeo and Juliet, but I grew up the first 10 years in France, came to America in 1980, and start in the business when I was 14 years old, bed and breakfast with mom and dad in Verona. And when I came to America in 1980 to learn English, my first job was a dishwasher.
Awesome. Brothers, sisters?
We are 7, 5 boys, 2 girls. I'm the cutest one of the 7, even if they don't believe it.
Nice. And so how did you get from Italy to the United States? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my older sister married my brother-in-law, GI, American. She met in Italy. She moved to Walnut, very close to here, and I came to visit her. And I never left.
Wow. So you were from a family of 7. My mom was from a family of 8. My father, a family of 7. What's happened over generations? Why don't you see these huge families anymore? I mean, is it just too much work?
Well, I guess it's not that easy. I remember when I was a kid, door, window was open.
Right.
I mean, you play with your friends,
right.
brother and sister. Now you better lock the door at nighttime, right. And the window also. And a new lifestyle, you have to adapt yourself to where you are in the year 2000, right?
Yeah, it's definitely modernized. Well, Italy has a big affection to my heart. So before I got into public relations and internet marketing, I was actually a waiter at the Olive Garden. It was an awesome thing. Breadsticks, Alfredo sauce, lasagna. I was really good at selling it. My father said, you should go into public relations. I fell in love with Italy with the food. And my wife also very much loves Italy. And when we planned our wedding, we actually picked Lake Como, and we got engaged in Rome, and we've been subsequently many times. It's a very, it's almost a world in itself, Italy. You go from one city to another, it's like 2 separate countries. Why is Italy so different in that way? I feel like the food, the culture, the music, the cuisine, the family values, it's just this very, very special place. Where do those roots come from?
Well, Italy was a kingdom, not one kingdom, it was different kingdom, different region. Each of them had their own little king or prince or food. I mean, when you went to Italy then, especially in the 1700s, 1600s, 1500s, they were not one country. They were
right.
different countries.
Sure.
And each of them had their own things. And we are centralized in Europe. There's some people don't know, but we got conquered, obviously, the Roman, came all the way down to Austria. We got conquered from the French people when Napoleon,
right.
and in fact, 5 minutes from my home is Obelix from a huge war that Napoleon won against the Austrian.
Right.
And we got conquered from the Austrian-Hungaric. I mean, when you are in the north of Italy, you have 3-4 nations who conquer right. just the north part of it. And it's spread all over the country. Right. I mean, there's different region, different food, a different language also.
Right. So you come to the United States. I mean, you basically had no money in your pocket, right?
And no, I had $200.
$200. Yeah. Okay. I mean, back then that was kind of like a lot of money.
I was rich.
Okay, you were rich. So you come to the United States with $200. How do you go from just a very small amount like that, and you build this incredible legacy of a restaurant, as well as we'll get into Caterina's Club. Tell us how you went through that transition to getting here.
I was good. I'm just kidding. No, I came to America after 2 weeks that I was here with visit my sister. I was already bored. I've been working since the age of 14 years old, 15 hours a day, and 7 days a week too.
Right.
I mean, I said to my sister, I want to do something. I applied for a job. They hired me in a restaurant called La Vie en Rose in Brea. And they said, well, if you want a position, even if I was maître d' in Italy, they said, we have only dishwasher.
Right.
I said, okay, I wasn't care. I just want to work. After 2 days, I was a busboy. After 10 months, I was a waiter. After 2 years, I was a captain. After 4 years, I was a general manager.
Wow.
That is working hard, and I did work hard.
Right.
And year number 7, Anaheim White House was for sale. A friend of my work here called me up. He said, Bruno, do you want to buy?
Right.
I said, hello, I don't have any money.
Yes.
And I talked to my former boss, which was Louis Lollerdan de la Vie. And I came to apply, to talk to the owner.
Right.
And I said, Louis, can you help me out? And Louis said, what do you want to do? I said, I would like to do an Italian restaurant. Well, short story, I say, yes, I would like to buy you, Mr. Jim. And he say, how much money you have? I say, I don't have any.
Right.
And Louis didn't have any either. He looked at me in the eyes, he said, I love your honesty. Give me a handshake. A week later, I was inside of the restaurant as, quote, owner.
Right.
He gave me 3 years' time to get a SBA loan, which I was able to get through a friend of mine.
And what year was this?
1987, when I take over the restaurant.
Right.
And the loan I got in 1990.
Right.
A good friend, a customer used to come here for lunch every day. SBA loan officer. Love my personality, what I was doing. It was a big impact to get the loan to buy the restaurant.
Wow.
And here I am, 30 years later.
So
I'm
proud
still
of you.
here.
So proud of you and your continued success. And I was born and raised in Orange County. There's something about Levy and Rose, Chez Carré, the White House, Faces on 17th. You know, there's all these amazing fine dining restaurants. And I worked in them, you know, Raffaello. You learn about service and that attention to detail. And there's so many pieces to the orchestra to play it right. And Anaheim White House for decades has been doing it so well. Why have you seen fine dining restaurants sort of evaporate over the years? I feel like they don't exist as much.
That is wrong. I'll tell you why. We went from fine dining, French cuisine, to a big impact.
Right.
Italian takeover, Oriental Japanese takeover. Now the young generation, they want to have fun, they want a club, they want color, they want music. But the young generation, one day they're going to be not young anymore.
Right.
They're the one they're going to look for fine dining again.
Right.
I mean, look at, if I'm here for 30 years, I still do fine dining, it have a beautiful atmosphere of the service, is the reason.
Right.
Because, yeah, for 10, 15 years, you just want to have a party and go out.
Right.
But at one point, you don't hear that well. You want to be to a nice restaurant, you can be quieter.
Right.
And I think it will never die completely if you keep yourself on top of it.
Right.
And I am. I'm trendy, but I keep the old style too.
Absolutely. I think it's so one of a kind. And tell us about that journey from going dishwasher to busboy to waiter to captain to owning a restaurant. The struggles that we have a huge audience in the IMA that's watching this video. Everyone goes through a struggle, a hardship. It's like the energy forces are working against you. How were you able to, as an immigrant here to the United States, someone who probably didn't speak English as good as maybe the next fine dining restaurant, how were you able to overcome those struggles to get yourself into a position? Like, what was the burning desire inside you to keep pushing forward?
Well, when you come to a country which is new to you, you don't speak the language, you know before you leave that it won't be easy. The language was really a big barrier to me.
Right.
But, you know, when I was 11 years old, when my mom and dad moved back to Italy from France, I didn't speak Italian either.
Right.
I mean, I had to learn Italian when I was 11. I learned English when I was 26, when I came over. Working hard. I mean, if you want to be successful and you don't want to work much, I doubt you're going to be if you don't have mom and dad with money behind you.
Right.
But if you want to be successful, you work very hard. Door opening up themselves. You don't even do an effort to open a door. People were looking at you and they're going to open up a door for you and you go to enter and you go to the next step. That's what happened from a dishwasher to busboy to waiter to captain. When they see how much work I was, the manager, the owner opened half a door for me. And I put my feet in there.
Right.
And I got my 2 feet in there. And every time it was that way. Same thing when I bought the restaurant. I mean, who will want to buy $1 million restaurant with $200 in a packet?
Right.
But I wasn't scared to work. I came to talk to the owner. I say, I'm here. I would love to take over. I asked my former boss if he can help me out because I was a little bit scared too. But I was not afraid. And when I took over the White House at the beginning, Some people don't know. There used to be a small sofa
Right.
by the restaurant desk. So many nights I was exhausted
Right.
because I closed the restaurant at 2 a.m. because we used to have a bar.
Yeah.
Be here at 7 a.m. And the sofa was my bed.
That was it.
The tablecloth were my blanket.
Oh, wow.
The sink upstairs was my shower.
Right, right.
I did that for at least the first year and a half.
And to all the entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they call them, think about that. You know, he slept on a couch. He used a tablecloth as a blanket. I can remember starting the IMA many nights where I just worked until the sun came up. That sort of dedication and hard work is following a passion and a dream. It's not following the dollar. It's not just about making money. It's about making an impact and really creating a difference in your industry, in your world. And he was able to use that tenacity to build this incredible restaurant. Now take us through the journey, Bruno, of you now own the White House. You've never owned a restaurant before, but you know how to operate it. How were you able to create this sustainable and successful restaurant? Because as you and I both know, many restaurants, they start off really strong and then they level out and then they disappear. It's one of the biggest industries that has the most turnover. So how were you able to create that sustainable success in hospitality?
Well, first of all, you need to be knowledge on every corner of a restaurant business. But I think on any business. I mean, I don't care what you open as a business, you better be knowledge on everything that happened to your business to know how to resolve a problem if it happens.
Right.
And to know how to teach it to be a leader. Because if you're not a leader,
Right.
the place will fall off.
Totally.
I mean, for me, I had to be knowledge on the food, on the service, on the budget, banking. I mean, this is the journey to learn every single corner before you jump to something. But one thing is always have to be trendy. I'm probably the most awarded restaurateur in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't brag about that. I just very rarely say that. But why I say that? Because even if I receive 100 or 200 awards, I don't sit on my chair, live rich and famous because I have 200 awards. I'm always on the restaurant. I'm always say hi to the customer.
Right.
I'm always in the kitchen. I always look at the service. But I have to be trained in also what people like, what they want, what are they interested to come. You don't come to the restaurant the last 30 years, see the same decor.
No, it changes.
It changes maybe every 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Because if you're my customer or a friend that come for dinner, you want something new, and people notice.
Right.
Oh my God,
Right,
wow,
right,
Bruno,
yes,
what
right.
did you do? Well, because I don't want you to get bored. I mean, you have to be on top of the trendy situation.
Right.
But without losing your character of what you're building. The house himself is built in 1909, historical national landmark. I could have left old decor inside. No way.
Right.
I changed 5-6 times already.
Exactly.
Now when you come, you see a modern museum.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
You see Versace look,
Yep.
which we know Versace is,
Yes,
right?
of course.
I mean, but the building, when
Yes.
you come,
Yeah.
1909 historical
Love it. It's
landmark.
timeless, yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to mix things together in the right way.
Right.
And Italian knows how to do that.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me of where I went to school, Chapman University. You have buildings from the late 1800s and modern buildings, but the aesthetic of it all is so balanced. One thing for the audience to really think about what Bruno said, similar to my business, know every single corner of your business. That way, if there's a problem, you know how to address it. And I have a question to you, Bruno, around that. So instead of creating multiple White Houses and spreading across the nation, where did you see that point, instead of replicating this and growing it, that you just kept reinventing yourself here? Why did you choose to just stay in one location versus multiplying it as a restaurateur?
At one point on the early beginning of the White House, I ended up to have 3 restaurants.
Okay.
The second one I didn't worry about because my former business partner and boss ran it, was La Vie en Rose. I ended up to be partner with him. But we opened another one, which was not too far away from the White House. But I realized I was damaging the restaurant here to be there and to be here. When I see a restaurateur, then they open chain, like even celebrity chef. Well, if you have millions of dollars, put top chef, top manager in there, you okay. I'm alone.
Right.
I need to be in one place. I realized when I was tightening myself too much, I was damaging my own business.
Right.
I decided, no, I want to be taking care of one, the one I love, the one I care, That is the White House.
That's awesome. And you can feel that quality every time you're here. Whether I'm hosting a party with clients or my wife and I and our family are here, you feel that level of quality. Whether it's your general manager or you coming out, and it's just that experience that's one of a kind. And I think it's something to really think about. Sometimes owning a restaurant, if you really just focus and reinvent that restaurant right there, that profit margin will actually be greater for you than if you replicate and have 100 restaurants, because then you're inheriting more liabilities. So it's something that's very interesting. So along the journey, Bruno, your mother, bless her heart, Caterina, you and her apparently went to a Boys and Girls Club, and she saw a little boy eating a bag of potato chips. And she said, a comment to you, and you said, "No, Mom, that's what he has for dinner." And that was when Caterina's Club was born. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, April 18, 2005. Boys Girls Club Anaheim. Mom from Italy went there. Potato chips boy. He live in a motel. Motel is no kitchen. Mom cannot even cook for it. And that's what the director told me. He said, most probably there's only dinner potato chips. Mom, that is what is dinner tonight. Can you imagine that? And she looked at me and said, "Well, son, why don't you feed him a pasta?"
Right.
And start the magic. You know when you have a fairy tale?
Sure. Yeah. That was the light.
That was the light.
Right. The gear shifted.
That was the first pasta that year. We started to do 50, 100, 200, hundreds. Now we are an average of minimum 5,000 meals every single day.
It's amazing.
And just recently, we just served the 5 million meals served.
Right.
Just with one kid
Right.
15 years ago. And Mom said, feed the kids some pasta because no child should go to bed hungry.
Amazing. And so where did that pasta come from? I mean, you're running a restaurant. Is it coming out of the same kitchen? Is that how it started?
And in fact, I closed the restaurant for lunch for that reason.
Oh, wow.
I could not operate both of them. Like, remember I told you earlier, you have to be careful when you operate. You need to know every angle. And I realized cooking thousands of pounds of pasta a day, open for lunch, I will damage one and the other one too.
Right.
Say close for lunch for the customer, let's take care of the kids.
Amazing.
And we cook every day over here, 5 days of the week.
And that's why you're such a hero, Bruno, to so many people. And this is a great example. Giving back to your community. It doesn't necessarily just have to be a financial donation. It's your time, it's your pasta, it's whatever your trade is. Look at what Bruno's been able to do and the impact that he's created. So much so that I almost feel like Caterina's Club was almost like this tidal wave that just, I mean, White House is still there, but Caterina's Club became this viral movement, and now there's sort of like chapters across the nation, right, where there's other organizations modeling the same approach.
Yeah, right now we are in Orange County alone, 96 location,
Wow.
over 30 cities. But we got the replica in New York, Chicago, Texas,
Amazing.
Italy, Africa, Mexico, and it expanded. And Caterina, as myself, done so many speech in Dubai, United Nations, Brazil. I went all over.
Right.
Even I went to the Pope.
That's, I saw. Yeah.
When you do, that's what Caterina is all today, is
Right.
all over the world. It
Sure.
has, you may know, you probably saw me on every TV
Of
channel
course.
worldwide.
And continued success there, Bruno. It's such a great leadership. And why do you think children in America are hungry? I mean, here we're the most progressive, economically driven. You know, we've got the resources. Why can't we find a way to just have every child nourished? What are your thoughts there?
I know, that is one part of a lot of my speech, you know. I tell people, when I was CNN hero and I was televised with 200 countries, 90 million watch, I say, it's time to stop to talk about it
Right.
and to do something
Right.
about it.
Right.
This is what not everybody does.
Right.
I don't just talk, I do things. And a lot of people out there help.
Sure.
I give credit to a lot of the people who help, but a lot of the people also don't even know how to help.
Right.
I mean, try to look for foundation like Caterina's Club
Right.
or others. They are phenomenal foundation out there.
Sure.
And try to help them, but do something.
Right.
Don't just buy a yacht or car and go shopping and don't think about others.
Right.
Because on every angle, on every city, on every country around the world,
Right.
is always somebody who's hungry.
Absolutely. And this is such a great example again for the audience. Like people will say, Sinan, why do you do Impact Show? It's to really share stories like this. And I encourage all of you to find your own Caterina's Club. What can you be doing with your skills or your relationships or the resources that you have access to really help the greater good? And that's what keeps me going, you know? And hopefully you can learn from Bruno and apply some of that to your growth as well, because to me that rounds an individual. You could be very successful as a professional, but who are you if you're not making impact? That's why we named our conference Impact. That's why our show's called Impact. We've been doing this for 2 decades now. And these impact stories continue, and you're such a great example of that, Bruno. Now, in the midst of this sustainable success, all these great things are happening. Caterina's Club's growing, restaurants booming, and then the fire happens. Tell us a little bit about how that came out of nowhere and where we're standing here today and how you were able to fight through that.
I know, that was a very interesting night. 3 a.m. I get a phone call at home. Your restaurant is on fire. I thought it was a prick. And it was not. I drove here, and the first person I saw was a fire chief. He looked at me. My question was like, is it bad? He said, it's very bad. And we both had tears in our eyes. And that was the best hug I received in my entire life.
Wow.
On that moment. I stand on the front of the restaurant. I see everything on fire, firemen on the top of the roof, flame coming up. I cry and cry and cry.
Sure.
But after the tragedy of the first few hours, a few days, I say, what I'm going to do? Do I go back to Italy, to my family, start again? I mean, there was a lot of questions in my mind. But when I look at the place on ashes, I thought it was evil, because flame destroying, I consider evil. I say, I don't want the evil to conquer what love was for so many years.
Right.
I remember the grandmother, the grandfather, the anniversary, the birthday party. So much love has been in the entity of the White House.
Right.
My own mom and dad and family was Italy here before. So I'm going to do an effort. I'm going to start again.
Right.
And this is the process. The love that I had for my own business
Yes.
is what makes me go forward
Sure.
and keep doing what I did.
Would you say that that was the hardest point in your life that day?
Besides losing my mom that day, yes.
Okay.
Well,
Did you
in
feel
fact,
her-
when I cried,
Yeah.
I did feel guilty.
Right.
You know why? Because I was crying as much when I lost my own mom, which was very close.
Sure.
And I'd say to my family, it's like, I did feel bad. I was crying and sad as much as when I lost mom. It can be.
Right.
Mom is above everything else
course.
for the lost. And my family say, well, because the restaurant is your own child.
Right.
And mother and child love is
And Bruno,
unconditional.
what happened when the fire happened, even that day, there was love coming right back to you. Your hundreds, thousands of people's lives that you've impacted. The Crystal Cathedral, to donors, corporations, they started giving you support. Can you tell us a little bit about how that felt and how that got you to where you're
Yeah,
at?
I mean, like I mentioned, 3 o'clock in the morning when I was here. But 8 o'clock in the morning, I say, how am I going to cook the pasta
Right.
for the children?
For the kids, right?
Yeah. The Bishop of Orange County, the Caterina, said, Bruno, if you need a kitchen to cook the pasta, we give you the kitchen till when you can reopen.
Sure.
That means we never lost one day.
Wow.
We started pasta the next day. And the children did help me to go even, because some people, when tragedy happens, they drink, they take drugs,
Sure.
they get depressed. Me was cooking pasta.
Right.
And see the kids happy. And that's what, and the love. I mean, when people like me, they know what I do, but not for what just I do.
Sure.
I'm a nice guy, I believe,
Right.
right? And I mean, people jump all out for to help me out.
Right.
What can I do? What can I do?
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
when you're a good leader and you're a good person, people's always there to help you if
Absolutely.
you need some.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
were there.
One of the things about this show is we talk about adversity. So like everyone goes through a dark time in life, okay? You're up against impossible odds, yet you're this leader. Any of the most successful leaders I know have had their darkest days. When you walk into your dream, your restaurant that you've put 30 years of your life into and you've built Caterina's Club and now it's all gone at 3 a.m., how did you get through that time? What was inside you that kept you from giving up, turning to substance, doing something really bad to yourself, but really using that as an opportunity to shift that negative into a positive, rebuild this state-of-the-art beautiful restaurant, and take Caterina's Club to the next level against all odds? How were you able to do that?
Well, one thing you never give up, but even before the fire, I went through 9/11, Restaurant was empty for months after months.
Right.
No more traveling, no more convention. I mean, I remember on October 7th of 9/11 time, the month after, I had 2 customers in a restaurant. I mean, you go through a few months like that
Sure,
after
yeah.
picking up. The recession come. Fine dining was completely
right.
dead. I lost $0.5 million sales in 6 months' time.
Wow.
I was ready to close down.
Sure.
And I came back up.
Right.
The fire come. I'm rebuilding, put the debt on my shoulder. I mean, I think experience of life,
Sure.
negative. You know, when you fell,
Right.
stand up. When
Yeah.
you fell, stand
Right,
up.
right.
That's why. I mean, I give you strength and energy to keep going,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
never give
Sure,
up.
sure.
I tell people, never give up. In fact, I wrote something this morning
Yeah.
on my Facebook to someone who was doing it hard time.
Right.
I said, we have 9 lives. We are like the cat.
Yes.
Never give up. This
Right.
is our first life. We have 8 more to go.
Right.
Just to cheer up some people.
Right.
Hey, look at COVID-19. What happened?
Well, I was going to bring that up
I
next.
mean, that's the next. I'll let you do.
Yeah.
But let me finish with this one. I never want to give up.
Right.
But love and strength is what give me the strength to keep going. I mean, Mother Teresa said one time, it takes 0 money to be a decent human being, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes 0 money for me to say, okay, Bruno, keep going.
Right.
Go for it.
Sure.
After that, I have to find the money to do it.
Right.
But at the beginning, the love was superior to the money. The money was superior of fighting worriness and be concerned.
Right.
And if we have the passion, you have the love of what you do, don't give up. You got
That's
to
right.
be somewhere one day.
So then you overcame all that adversity,
overcome
rebuilt
that.
the restaurant.
Very easy, yeah.
Caterina's Club is kind of getting back and everything is moving forward, and then the pandemic hits. So is this another life that you've just shedded?
Yes,
Tell
in
us a
fact,
little bit about how the pandemic has impacted everything.
CBS, Steve Hartman,
Yeah.
he has a TV show which is one of the most famous in the country called On the Road with Steve Hartman.
Yes. Uh-huh.
He came to interview me during the COVID. He said, Bruno, what's next? I said,
What's left,
"Steve,"
right?
I said, Steve, next time you interview me,
Right.
will not be tragedy. We were talking about, we were doing
Sure.
the COVID, right?
Right, of course.
I said, I'll be on the top of the Statue of
There
Liberty
you
with
go.
the American flag
Right.
and singing. That's the only time you go to interview me next,
course,
because
there
the
you go.
last 3 times it was always something bad.
Right.
That was a huge challenge, because in 48 hours, when COVID came, I had to change completely Caterina's Club. Not only I was concerned of the restaurant, empty, close the door for the first 2 months. I remember when we got a notification of COVID, of a convention in town, natural product. I lost 1,200 reservations in less than an hour and a half.
Right.
I was so happy the day before. We are packed all week.
Right.
An hour and a half, all the reservations canceled because convention canceled, concern of the COVID.
Got it.
Soon after that, restaurant lockdown. But the COVID-19 shut down Boys Girls Club,
Yeah.
school, every facility. Then we were serving pasta.
Right.
Nobody will want to open the door.
Right.
Then, instead to stay like this and thinking about, I start to move. I start to fight. Why don't we serve kids now? Then is the worst moment for them.
Right.
They don't have lunch at school. They don't
Sure,
have a breakfast at
exactly.
school. Say,
Right.
if we don't give them the pasta,
Right.
those kids be starving.
Right.
I mean, in 48 hours, they start to call, make phone calls, say, okay, I'm going to prepare single pasta in a container, leave them out of the door. They can put them in if you don't want to see me, worry the contagious, which we knew. We do drive-through. I remember the first 2 months. We were having the raincoat, glove, mask, glass. We were scared because in my country, Italy, if you remember, after China, was the worst in the world
Sure,
then.
right.
People were died. I mean, we were frightened to die the first month to be around people.
Right.
But I had to do something.
Right.
I mean, me and my crew, we were on the front line, fight a disease that could have killed us just to feed Caterina's clubs. kids.
Right. Wow.
We went to do drive-through every single day. Monday is at the restaurant. This last past Monday, we had over 300 cars
Wow.
feeding 2,000 to 3,000
Sure.
families.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we had to do in the last 12 months.
Huge,
it was
huge.
a big
And I got to say, as we wrap up this interview, you were really an innovator through this. I noticed that you immediately put up glass walls. You had sanitizer stations. You were the first restaurant, at least the newsletters that I got, that was really taking an immediate proactive approach. Why didn't you just wait? And why did you get involved right away? What was that trigger?
Because I was following Italy before anybody else was.
Right.
I was having,
that's right. Yeah.
I was having a meeting with my crew. I said, guys,
Right.
be careful. In Italy, they shut it down, restaurants shut it down, everything.
Right.
This virus, it could be everywhere. I mean, in the breeding or what's happening, I started to put UV light in my AC,
Right.
UV light on every single room,
Right.
UV light silverware.
Right.
Recently, I just buy a filter from NASA, then in 3 minutes kill the virus in a dining room of 3,000 square feet. Believe me, somebody did something in a business against virus is Bruno Serato.
Right.
And the reason I was doing I did the press release and the news press release.
Exactly.
I want everybody to follow me.
I think that was
I
great.
just do it. Put it in your office.
That's a great lesson for our audience. So I'm in public relations. He's a restaurateur. Be the leader in your industry. Be the one to invent what to do in that circumstance. It wasn't like there was some federal issue on here's what you need to do. He created that. And so that's something that you can take as an example in whatever industry that you're in. If a crisis happens like this, be the one to lead first for your industry. Get a press release out, send it out in your newsletter, put it on your social media. And I really say that, I'm in internet marketing. That was true internet marketing because it wasn't promoting yourself. It was communicating with other stakeholders, even your competitors, to say, this is how we're doing it at Anaheim White House. Learn from this. So in conclusion, let's have some fun now, Bruno. This restaurant has seen some really cool celebrities, political figureheads. Give me a couple that come to mind that you loved or was something pretty cool that many people don't know have visited here.
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, 2 United States presidents.
Right.
I mean, any restaurant can say that.
Sure.
President Jimmy Carter.
Right.
Which look what he's doing at his age, right?
Yeah.
President George W. Bush,
Nice.
his brother Jeb Bush. I did the catering for Madonna. Madonna's Madonna, right?
Sure, right.
Gwen Stefani,
Yeah.
which I love it. Andrea Bocelli, sport, Albert Pujol, Barry Bonds.
Nice.
I can go on and on.
I saw Ronaldo's jersey.
Cristiano Ronaldo special.
My
As
gosh.
a Juventus fan,
Right.
as you know, to have the jersey of Cristiano Ronaldo, that is thanks to Albert Pujol.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one who bring that for me. Celebrity, thousands of them. I can go on and on. Even the wife of the producer who find Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
She was here years ago. She was telling me, my husband discovered Marilyn.
Right.
I mean, when you have a restaurant, it's cool to meet.
Sure.
My celebrity is people like you, like me, like others. For me, everybody has the same level of celebrity when they come. Yeah, but the coolest one, it's when they are so famous, it's like, wow, they come to my restaurant. I mean, and they like me. I mean, Mira Sorvino came 3 times to serve the kids.
Sure, right.
Paul Sorvino serving
right.
the I mean, when you see that, it is pretty cool.
I'm going to end with a couple stories that Bruno and I have in common. So in 2010, I founded the Anaheim International Film Festival. Mayor Kurt Pringle at the time had shared this concept, and we all just kind of threw whatever we could together to put on this incredible festival. It had 8,000 people, 300 films. There was a gentleman by the name of Josh Bednarski and Joe Moulton, and there was a whole bunch of people, Wally, Sandy, that all just put in their love. And we needed someone on the restaurant side, food and beverage, and we were introduced to Bruno, and he didn't know any of us, and stepped in and just took care of this. And that's where we got Paul Sorvino, Mira Sorvino. We built all these celebrity great relationships, and we brought an awesome film festival to Anaheim, so much so that Disneyland Resort stepped in and became our big sponsor. They hosted our gala, and I just credit you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and supporting all of our vision to really just create arts and something fun for Orange County that never had a film festival. It was a one-hit wonder. We did it for 1 year because that entertainment industry could get a little bit crazy, but it was a great experience, and I thank you for that. The second is, Bruno and I share something in common. We were both knighted by Emanuele del Ferberto, by the House of Savoy, thanks in part to Dan McClory, who's very involved with us. Bruno, if you recall, you and I were in Rome together when we both got knighted. And tell me a little bit about that church and why that church is so meaningful to you. I think you called it the Pope's Church. Can you tell us a little bit about that walk that you and I had together?
I mean, the royal family of Savoy is the royal family of Italy. I mean, to be knighted by them, it's a huge thing for an Italian and even for you. But as an Italian, well, grandfather, mom, dad, thought that the Savoy royalty was a big deal. But the church where we did the event is the oldest Christian church in the world, beside one in Armenia. I mean, it's very, people think of the Vatican, with the Church of Rome, but that one was the first church.
That was very special.
It is beautiful. In fact, I don't know if you remember, but the chair of the
yes,
Pope
the chair
is
of the
always
Pope.
there.
Yeah.
And that church has the meaning faithful of Catholic in the world, Christianity in the world.
When we walked through there, I saw almost like a child in you. You were so excited to take me around, and I'll never forget that. And I had my own children on that tour with us. And I'll end with this. Bruno, you're also a medalist by the Ellis Island, Nasser Kazemini, who's a good friend, mutual friend of ours, as well as a CNN hero. And your accolades go on and on. But I think the greatest award that you have is the one that you keep giving to this next generation. The look on your face at Snow Day. I was here 2 years ago before everything happened with the pandemic. You transformed the White House. You kept telling me, Sinan, you got to check out Snow Day. And I'm just like, okay, Bruno, it's another one of your things. But I was really transformed to bring the IEC and the IMA community to help serve pasta. In a matter of hours, there were hundreds of kids here. And you fed all of them. You gave them Christmas gifts, and then you built an incredible sledding venue outside with real snow in Anaheim, California, which never happens. Tell us a little bit about how you're able to put that together and what that means to you.
Well, it's one thing. You know, children, we fit at the Boys Girls Club at school, the environment is the same. I always want the children who can't afford it, don't have no way possibility to come to a restaurant like this. I want them to come to dinner in my own restaurant where USA president, movie stars, celebrities eating. The only way to do that is to invite them. To invite them, yeah, I can give them filet mignon, anything you want, but for kids, there's more. There's more than just filet mignon, caviar, as we maybe consider. I mean, I decided to get the 10,000 tons of snow, get the slide, bring the kids over here, and when I stand, you see all those kids, throw me snow on me. Sometimes they hurt me because they get very cold, you know. That's the best day of the year at the White House restaurant, to see kids smile. And I remember one year I was with a restaurant critic at Passway, Fifi Chow. A kid came between Fifi and I and said, Chef Bruno, can I come back again? I said, sure. And Fifi looked at me, she said, you just give him security, then he can come back to here. Do you know what that means for a kid?
Huge.
I say huge. Thank Fifi for say that. She's in having her soft, but for me to see children smile, be happy, but not for the food, but to be to an environment.
It's amazing.
It just
and I'm so excited to share that with our audience in the photos and video that they see here. But you know, that fully integrated moment for those children who never get to experience Christmas that way or the holidays that way, as Carrie Ransom in Orange County says, you find a gear in them that didn't exist. You find a light that turns on. And that little difference right there could be the difference of getting into gangs and drugs and doing something productive and getting an education and going into a positive direction in their life. So, you know, thank you for doing that.
Did a speech for them once. He said, I was a little girl like you. If I won the Academy Award, you can. Bobby Ryan, NHL player from the DAC, said, I was a little kid who just liked to play hockey. Now I'm famous. I went to the Olympics. If I can, you can. And when I do my own speech, I say, I was a dishwasher with no money. I didn't speak English. Look what I own now. And if I can, you can. That is when you give a leadership and inspiration to children.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bruno. And in closing, can you tell us a little bit about this beautiful portrait behind us and what this signifies?
This is one wall of a lot of the wall I have in the restaurant that represent piece of art of Italy. Original one is on north of Italy. It's probably 10 times bigger than this one. It represents art of Italy, that we know that's what Italy is all about.
Right.
On every city you go, you see piece of art.
Right.
I mean, when you come here, you have to check every single room a different piece of art.
Right.
They are just magic.
That is awesome. And Bruno, what is your favorite thing to eat?
Spaghetti, olive oil, and garlic.
Boom! And with that, I present to you our next episode of Impact with Bruno Serato. I got everything out of this man. This is going to be a legacy piece. I'm so honored to have this opportunity to interview him. And if you like this content, please share the show with your friends, subscribe. We have a crazy amount of interviews that are lined up. It's going to be so cool. Hit the bell so you get alerted every time we have a next episode up. Don't forget about our Impact Conference, which will be live in Las Vegas on October 1st. We're going to bring it back to Vegas, be one of the first shows. We're going to attempt to register 250,000 people, so it'll be live from Las Vegas, but streaming out to our wide audience and IMA membership. And we're going to attempt to give hundreds of thousands of dollars in merchandise away like we did last year. So thank you again, Bruno.
Thank you.
Great, great. Oh, is it a handshake? Is it? Okay, that's what it is.
Okay, that one too.
Who's going to figure out that tool? Thank you. All right, cool. We're done.
This has been a Sano Shops